Good evening, this is News.PH, but it's not politics as usual. I'm Pio Ontiveros. Tonight, News.PH continues on the campaign trail. This is Meeting the Avance, a senatorial candidate series. We have with us Baldomero Flacone from the Democratic Party of the Philippines and independent candidate, retired Major General Ramon Montano. Good evening, General Montano. Good evening, Mr. Flacone. Thank you for being here.
Good evening. Good evening.
General Montano, let's begin with you. Let's talk about martial law. Where exactly were you assigned during martial law in the Philippine Constabulary?
I was the Chief of the Police Intelligence Branch of the Criminal Investigation Service.
The CIS, which is now the CIDG.
Which is now the CIDG.
Okay. And you were, what were you then, sir? Captain or a major?
I was a full colonel.
Full colonel na by then?
Yes.
14 years after graduation?
I know, I was still Lieutenant Colonel.
Lieutenant Colonel, okay. What did you think of martial law at that time?
We're very happy because at the start of martial law, President Marcos was trying to prove that there should be no compromising enforcement of the law. That all, whether he is close to him or powerful politicians, we apprehended them. And we were very happy that at least the law was being held as supreme all over the others.
You were very happy in the first few years of martial law?
In the first few days, or few weeks,
few
or few
weeks.
years. Yes.
Few years. What is it, sir? First few days, first few weeks, first few years?
Well, maybe first few years, first 2 years.
First 2 years,
Yes.
okay. So by 1974, 1975, medyo nagkakaroon na ng disenchantment or what?
Yes, more on disenchantment as far as keeping it, keeping it at a very straight level.
and narrow path.
At a very straight level, because they apprehended the cronies of the big corporations or big names like
Lopez.
Lopez's. However, there were new economic cronies that came in that replaced them. So this already removed our enchantment with martial law, as far as we, the enforcer of the martial law, was concerned.
Okay, okay. Did you at any time participate in any suppression of freedom in any way?
No.
Apart from arresting all those critics of Mr. Marcos?
We did not arrest critics. It was not us. It was not the CIS.
Who was it?
It was the intelligence service of the armed forces of the Philippines, who were in charge of listing down the political opponents of Marcos. My job then was to list down all military, political figures, police involved in criminality, only in criminality.
Okay, but at no time whatsoever were you involved in any suppression of any freedoms?
Well,
you can say that with a straight face, because I mean, what we're trying to do is trace the progression from tuwan-tuwa kayo sa martial law sa umpisa, in the next few years, medyo nawala yung inyong and then nag-EDSA po kayo, no? But
yeah, kami kasi, we were more concerned on criminality. And we were very happy that we were able to enforce the law against criminals, whether he was close to Marcos or not. That's why, and we were happy when we apprehended Roquito Ablan. Roquito Ablan, even Congressman Alberto of Catanduanes. Then Congressman Rafael Aquino of a warlord in Mindanao. We were so happy because at least we feel that we were real enforcers of the law rather than enforcer of the law against poor people only.
Pero natuwa din po siguro rin kayo dahil tumahimik. Hindi po ba?
In essence, hindi naman talaga tumahimik kasi we know some of our people were abusing their authority to apprehend. And instead of following the rules of court, the apprehension.
So sa Philippine Constabulary, sa PCINP, the forerunner of the Philippine National Police, meron po kayong nakilalang mga nang abuso ng poder o kapangyarihan.
Yes, we
martial
know that because, however, we were very lucky that General Ramos was our chief, and he was very fair, very just, and he follows the rules.
Okay. Mr. Falcone, where were
Yeah,
you
good evening.
during martial law? When martial law was implemented?
I think I was just at home.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like, you were already working at the time?
Yeah, I was working as a management man of the Consult Asia. This was a management consultancy firm devoted in putting up resorts, and two of the resorts we put up was Lingayen Resort. There is a hotel there now, and Agoo Playa.
Okay, so as you were working in the north.
Yeah.
But did it bother you when martial law was declared? No.
Wala naman. I think there was more discipline. Government was more directional, in the sense that it had directions and milestones to fulfill. I think it was a good exercise in discipline and management for the first few years in a way.
The first few years. So at what point did you feel that things had gone wrong?
When the golden Buddha came into the picture, I think that was that changed everything.
Okay. Let's talk about the ambush of Senator Juan Ponce Enrile, Ramon Montano, in 1972. At the time, you said you were with the CIS, and your boss then was General Prospero Olivas, who was investigating the ambush. Was that a real investigation? He was investigating the ambush to find out kung meron talagang ambush, or he was investigating the ambush to try and get the so-called perpetrators?
No, we were having dinner with. I was with General was having dinner. We were on red alert during those days, just before martial law, and that surprised me because he never required me to sleep in camp even though we were on red alert, or have dinner with him. But he told me specifically, "You take your dinner with me on." And,
At hindi pa po nangyayari ang ambush?
Hindi pa.
Okay. What are you saying? That General Olivas knew that something was supposed to happen that night?
Yes.
He did? He knew that there was
No,
going
I
to be
feel
an
it
ambush?
because all of a sudden he said, "Let's go."
Okay.
Minister really was ambushed, so we went there to walk. And then I found out that
Minister Enrile was ambushed. Who told him? How did he know the news?
I don't know. I didn't ask him.
Okay. Eh, syempre, ang telepono pa lang noon, wala namang cellphone, landline lang.
I don't know. I didn't ask him, but he just said, "Let's go." And then I followed him, and we were followed by so many media people. But when I arrived in the scene of crime together with him, I found out that the car was already parked by the side, and the line of bullet holes was in a very neat pattern, one straight line. So I asked, I think the aide was there.
The aide of JPE.
Colonel Gador was there.
Dear Gador.
"Oh, Tisoy, anybody got killed there?"
And ang sagot niya?
None, we were, according to him, none.
And Colonel Gador was also a former RAM member, said talagang na-ambush sila, sabi niya.
I don't know what he said, but he told me that no one was hurt, and I think I have been investigating so many crime scenes for a long time, and I know, when you are ambushed,
yes,
and you are going to be hit by an automatic rifle, and you're traveling as alleged by them, the shots will be splattered all over, glasses splattered,
yes.
But that's too neat.
Okay. Well, here's a question, sir. What did you think when JPE admitted in that first press conference in Camp Aguinaldo during the EDSA revolution that the ambush was fake? I'm sure you heard of that.
Of course. I know because it was fake.
Yeah. So, parang ang feeling nyo, aba, buti na lang inamin na niya, parang ganon.
No, because they use that as the final straw.
Yeah.
That in martial law should be. And it's part of their campaign to convince us soldiers to follow them.
Okay. So, if you thought na, of course, I knew it was fake, so it was like good news for you na at least umamin siya. What did you think when you read or heard about the autobiography of Senator Enrile, where he, in so many words, took back what he said? In his autobiography, he talked about the ambush, and it seemed like he believed it was real.
Well, we were surprised. I mean, but I felt disgusted. Why they're trying to change the truth.
Okay. EDSA 1986 and after, earlier you were saying it took a few years before before you realized that there was something wrong with martial law, no, na hindi pala derecho. The question is, why did it take 14 years for you and your fellow officers to turn against Marcos?
14 years?
Yes, because 1972 to 1986.
Yeah, yes, because we never mutinied in our lives. It's against our culture, against everything that we stood for. So,
Right.
when, but however, when the break came in, we joined the Filipino people in this revolt. We did not join that. We did not join the RAM.
Okay, so it was really because it is not in your culture.
Yes.
It is not in the spirit of being a soldier. Ganun lang kasimple.
Yes.
But the opportunity, like you said, came in EDSA.
I think
at EDSA.
it's like something like enough is enough.
Finally.
Because we know the abuses, and they were using the armed forces to abuse people. And then we could not just take it in consideration. However, when the time came and the people joined the revolution to protect those rebels, we joined the Filipino people. We did not
Right.
join RAM, or we did not join Gringo, or we did not join Enrile, or we did not join Ramos. We joined the Filipino people.
That's an interesting distinction you made. We joined the Filipino
Well-
people. Okay. Mr. Falcone, where were you during EDSA 1986?
I was in the streets together with the masses.
When you say, sir, you were
3 days.
on the streets, nag-umpisa po ito noong pinatay si Ninoy, 1983, August? You were joining the anti-Marcos rallies? Is that what you were saying?
We accompanied the long march to the cemetery, carrying the coffin of Ninoy.
Okay.
Doon sa Santo Domingo Church, we look at his body and the bullet, the blood-stained
His suit.
jacket. And during that long march to the cemetery, we joined that. No? And in the 4 days of February, we were also in the streets. And we were glad that there was nobody who threw a firecracker. So everything was peaceful. Everybody was giving food to each other. People were happy during that EDSA revolution.
After EDSA, General Montano, why did you defend Cory through every coup attempt? Is it because you realized that we shouldn't have done what we did in 1986?
No, because it was our duty to defend her. And we believe in her. And we did not like the way the power grabbers did it. I mean, the RAM people were doing
But these are the
it.
same power grabbers who went
Pardon?
up against Marcos, hindi ba?
No. When they went against Marcos, they were going to overthrow Marcos. However, they were supposed to install
The junta.
Cory Aquino. Because according to them, in their announcement, it should be Cory should be the president because we cheated her during a snap election in something in Tugigaraw or somewhere. They announced that. So what for? When, but however, President Ramos did not, General Ramos did not agree to their idea of having a junta headed by Vice President Laurel, Ramos, and Enrile. He did not agree. So they have a one-on-one that Monday night. And that's the time when we found out that Ramos refused to accede
Where were
to
you
them.
assigned at that time, sir?
That time I was the chief of the narcotics command.
Okay, okay. But were you surprised that these die-hard military rebels, after staging EDSA in 1986, or helping EDSA along in 1986, went and staged coup attempts against Cory? Para bang nakatikim na sila hindi ba?
No, I think they really want to grab power.
Okay. We'll have to take a short break. News.PH will be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching News.PH on the Solar News channel. I'm Pia Ontiveros. My guests tonight, senatorial candidates Baldomero Falcone and retired Major General Ramon Montano. Let's talk about business. Mr. Falcone, you are president of a Millennium Industrial Commercial Corporation. Can you describe the company and the business?
Well, it's a 64 billion authorized capital corporation. And it has a 400-hectare property which was formerly a fish pond in Lapu-Lapu City. And we want to reclaim that because we have been given the permission by the authorities. And we have a 648-hectare concessional property in Karkar, Cebu, which we want to develop with at least 2 modern cement plants. Because according to the studies of the DNR and Policius of Germany and Fuller's Cement of the USA, the best Portland cement could be made out of the limestone in these areas.
Okay. So this company is in the business of reclaiming land?
Or it
just so happens that you're reclaiming land and then you...
It is actually, the 400 hectare is actually a private property of the corporation.
How did the corporation acquire it, sir?
This was formerly a fish pond, but during the time of President Marcos, he allowed some fish pond owners to buy, to convert their FLAs into titles.
FLAs?
Yeah. Fish pond lease
agreements.
Lease agreements.
Or is it foreshore lease agreements?
I really can't remember that. No, but our founder took that opportunity to buy at a very inexpensive price the 400 hectares, which was formerly a fish pond.
Who was your founder, sir?
Attorney Elias Tan, but he's dead, unfortunately now. No.
Okay. Who are the investors of this company? Who are the investors of this company?
Well, mostly Cebuanos. The chairman is architect engineer Gabriel Abiar. Our international chairman is retired General Cesar de la Peña. And we have an American designer who designed the land use of the whole area. And we are open to foreign investments.
What is your position in the company?
I'm the president.
You're the president.
Yeah.
You have not yet built on it. You have not yet developed
We have not yet built on it. Although there have been several foreign companies who wanted to join venture with us. Like for example, there is one of the biggest Korean firm, but I simply don't have the time to sit down with them and firm up a memorandum of agreement since we're busy during this campaign
sorry,
period.
we don't have much time. Pero ang sinasabi po ninyo, naghanap po kayo ng investors for this company.
Yeah.
Is this your securitization idea? Or
No,
this is
no,
separate?
no.
Okay,
This is separate.
we'll go into securitization in a while. I wanted to ask you about Global Interfaces Security Provider Incorporated. This is supposed to be a placement agency
No,
for
it is a
officers,
company.
or you are providing retired officers to military,
Yeah, we have
to what? U.S. Defense Department allied
yeah, we have a
corporations abroad?
company. Yeah, we have a company called GSP. No, which accepts retired officers from the military for possible assignments abroad.
Yeah.
And,
As what? Like with companies such as
well, guarding,
Blackwater,
guarding,
mga
for
ganon?
example, dams, guarding airports, non-violence in any, no violence in any way, no.
For the U.S. Defense Department, ganun po ba?
Originally, it was offering this kind of services to the U.S. Department, their airports, because at that time, our founder, Dr. Ernesto Ramos, was a very good friend of Hillary Clinton, and being the State Department head, she said that the Filipinos would be in the best position to guard.
Okay, so it's like para kayong U.S. defense contractor. Parang ganun po ba? Okay, that's ano. But you also describe yourself, sir, as a business consultant.
Yes.
For other companies.
Yes.
What companies? Are these big companies?
Big and small, if they like to securitize.
And securitize is what? In one sentence, can you define it in very simple terms?
Yeah, it is the skill or it is the process of convincing trust funds locally and abroad from getting into the country to develop a viable project into maturity.
Okay, like what is a viable project?
Well, if you can be convinced that the sales minus the cost of sales will generate a profit that is sufficient to give out dividends, that's a very viable project.
Okay. We looked up the definition of securitization, pooling various contractual debts to various investors.
That is a very limited definition, because under the Philippine context, we have come up with securitization very much mature and very much better than the American version. Because the American version is subject to abuse, because in the American version, almost anybody, any corporation can put up their private placement memorandum, and any corporation can get bonds, can float bonds and get investments from anybody. But in the context of the Philippines, there are safety nets. For example, the Trust Department of a commercial bank, the Securities and Exchange Commission, the Insurance Commission will make sure, the underwriter will make sure that you do not fool the people, that all the monies that are brought into the project are really applied directly into the project.
Okay, so you are not in the business of fooling people.
Definitely
not. The question here is, how does that help poor people?
Well, for example, there are so many viable projects in the countryside where most of the poor people are. All these viable projects can be securitized and get global funds to come into the countryside and create new businesses and employ thousands of Filipinos are presently unemployed.
Okay. General Montano, let's go to, let's talk about the reforms that you want to institute if you win in this election. As the last chief of the Philippine Constabulary, INP, Integrated National Police, I have to say that because many people of this generation don't know that. Before it was transformed into the Philippine National Police, you've said that you want to return the glory to the police. For example, by, as you said, removing political patronage as a prerequisite for assignments. Hindi po ba yung mga provincial director, different assignments sa mga police. Can you really do that? Is there really any local politician in his or her right mind, and we're talking of Congress, because Congress of course has to file that measure also. Is there any one of them who will willingly give up that power to appoint or approve assignments of police officers?
Well, I don't think so. But if I can be elected in the Senate, I can re-examine the law on this Philippine National Police, because the Constitution mandated that there shall be a national police. Civilian in character, national in scope, and to be administered and controlled by a National Police Commission, which is a constitutional body. But the implementing rules and regulation change it all. and put the chairman as of the NAPOLCOM, the Secretary of Interior and Local Government, who is a politician.
So you did not want a politician.
Yes,
So sino
because that
yung
is-
mag-head po ng NAPOLCOM?
Because that was the spirit of the Constitution, that the police should be isolated from politics. That's why they put it under a constitutional body.
Yes. Okay. But, okay, that will sound good. Kumbaga, in theory, it sounds good.
Yes.
No? It'll sound good in print, on paper. But how are you going to actually, shepherd a bill like that through, never mind the Senate, let's talk about the lower house. Congress, all these congressmen from all these districts
That's
that's
a big problem, but I think we should start. If we can change the law and remove entirely the provision that says that you cannot become a provincial commander unless the governor will count, will
unless you count out to the
will clear you, will recommend you, and you cannot be a chief of police in the municipality or the city unless the mayor will give his blessings.
Okay.
So, if we change that, that's a start. And also, we should remove the provision that the chairman of the NAPOLCOM should be the ILG.
So who will it be? Who will be the chairman?
It should be appointed by the president.
Okay. My next question, next topic. Did you ever try to unseat Gloria Arroyo?
Yes.
Which particular attempted mutiny? Was it Oakwood in 2003?
No.
Or was
after
it
that?
after Hello Garci? Or was it the 2006 February Fort Bonifacio?
Yes, 2006.
2006?
Yes, because...
What did you do? Sinong inudyok nyo doon?
Wala. Kami
Wala.
lang.
Okay lang.
So, we were the one actually recruited by the young officers.
Okay.
And,
Sinong young officers?
the Oakwood guys.
So for 2003? No,
Yeah,
for 2006.
Because they suffered so much and they were very
Okay.
young. And they met us when Commodore Kalahati died and there was a
Okay,
wake.
so in other words, you're saying that you helped in that February 2006.
Yes.
Sorry, hindi pala February 2000. Yes, February 2006. Oo.
During the IDSA Shrine anniversary, when Tito Ginguna is supposed to march there, etc.
Okay.
And we were supposed to urge those in the active service to join the people again to overthrow Gloria.
Okay.
And that's where she apprehended us.
Yes. All right. We have like 2 minutes to go, so my last questions will be about why you're running. Mr. Falcone, do you even have a ghost of a chance to win?
I think I have, because together with Mon here, we are from the Visayas, and
That might bring
I
in
think
the votes.
60% of all Filipinos speak Bisaya. So we have a pretty good chance.
In 2010, sir, you were disqualified as a vice presidential candidate at that time for not having a, quote, political track record.
Yes,
so this
we
time
were
around,
not-
you still don't have a political track
No,
record to speak of.
the reason we were disqualified is because we were not properly organized. This time, we are organized in all 17 regions of the country,
okay.
and we have submitted all our members to the COMELEC.
Okay.
So,
All right. General Montano, in 2004, you ran for senator under Mr. Eddie Hill's party, and then you withdrew your candidacy because he did not live up to his promise to fund your campaigns. Is that correct?
Not really. We found out that he was a fake.
He was a fake. Sir, ganito ho. You found out he was a fake.
Yes.
You did not know he was a fake from
No,
even
because
before that?
we know that the Marcos wealth is supposed to come back here. 80% should be given for humanitarian projects.
Okay.
And
And you
he has the documents to prove that he is the
The what?
the signatory to this, but actually he is not.
And because he offered you 200 million pesos each, you believed him.
Yeah.
I mean, if that offer wasn't that too good to be true and therefore false?
Well, it's too good to be true, but if it is good for the country, why not?
Hindi, yung 200 million pesos for your campaign kit.
No, we do not believe that.
Okay. Okay. May mga nagtanong at that time kasi, mga well-meaning friends po ninyo, ano nangyari kay Hapon?
Well, I really wanted to bring back that wealth of Marcos because I know that it's out there.
Okay. Were you and Eddie Hill friends before that?
No.
Before 2004? He didn't help you in anything?
In 2004?
Before 2004?
No.
Not at all. Why run for mayor of Makati in 92 and then run for Congress in 95 and 98?
In 92, I ran for mayor of Makati because I really wanted to
change.
I wanted to exit out. I was the undersecretary for Peace and Order of the DILG. And I wanted to, and when they tried to kick out Luigi Santos, my boss. So I feel that I need to exit out of the service as a secretary. So I applied. I asked General Ramos to recommend me. However, Cory appointed Sarino, who was an assistant secretary below me. So I submitted my irrevocable resignation.
So my last question, General Montano, is: do you think that people took you seriously when you kept running for various elective posts?
Yes. Only for Congress, it was different because I was banging my head against local political dynasties in the provinces. It's hard.
Okay, mahirap. Thank you very much for being with us. Mr. Flacone, thank you, sir, and General Montano, thank you very much for being with us. I'm sorry we ran out of time. And thank you for being with us. I'm Pio Ontiveros. This is News.PH. See you again next Wednesday. Good night.
The law was being held as supreme all over the others.
You were very happy in the first few years of martial law?
In the first few days, or few weeks,
few
or few years. Yes.
Few years. What is it, sir? First few days, first few weeks, first few years?
Well, maybe first few years. First 2 years.
First 2 years.
Yes.
Okay. So by 1974, 1975, medyo nagkakaroon na ng disenchantment or what?
Yes, more on disenchantment as far as keeping it, keeping it at a very straight level.
And narrow path.
At a very straight level because
it's now the CIDG.
Which is now the CIDG.
Okay. And what were you then, sir? Captain or a major?
I was a full colonel.
Full colonel na by then?
Yes.
14 years after graduation?
I was still a lieutenant colonel.
Lieutenant colonel, okay. What did you think of martial law at that time?
We're very happy because at the start of martial law, President Marcos was trying to prove that there should be no compromising enforcement of the law. That all, whether he is close to him or powerful politicians, we apprehended them. And we were very happy that at least.
Good evening, this is News.PH, but it's not politics as usual. I'm Pio Ontiveros. Tonight, News.PH continues on the campaign trail. This is Meeting the Avance, a senatorial candidate series. We have with us Baldomero Flacone from the Democratic Party of the Philippines and independent candidate, retired Major General Ramon Montano. Good evening, General Montano. Good evening, Mr. Falcone. Thank you for being here.
Good evening.
General Montano, let's begin with you. Let's talk about martial law. Where exactly were you assigned during martial law in the Philippine Constabulary?
I was the chief of the police intelligence branch of the Criminal Investigation Service.
The CIS, which is...
They apprehended the cronies of the big corporations or big names like Lopez's. However, there were new economic cronies that came in that replaced them. So this already removed our enchantment with martial law, as far as we, the enforcer of the martial law, was concerned.
Okay, okay. Did you at any time participate in any suppression of freedom in any way?
No,
Apart
because
from